All right, guys. Welcome back to Reviews by Hunter. That's me. I'm Hunter, and today we got the season finale of Sakomoto Days, episode 22 of season 1, titled Each One's Mission. So, let's get right into it. So, we start off with Taramaru fantasizing about being bandaged up by Sakamoto in his prime because she is a huge fangirl, as we know. She wakes up and it actually is Sakamoto himself bandaging her up from her injuries that she sustained from Shania, but she doesn't actually recognize him in fat form, even saying, "Who are you?" So we then get the test administrator in the green shirt and the brown pants. Turns out he didn't die. I'm gonna adjust that just real quick. There we go. Turns out he didn't die. He is alive. I guess we never really actually saw him fight Shania, so still don't know if that dude is like just lucky or if he is actually pretty powerful, because Shania disposed of the other test administrators with ease. But anyway, he says that due to unforeseen circumstances, the test is going to have to end early, right? And by unforeseen circumstances, he means multiple test administrators dying. Not part of the test. So they have to determine who passed and who failed based on their scores up to this point. It's kind of like when you're watching an NFL game and it gets delayed because of weather or something, and the score is like 14-7. Well, the team that had the most points at that point wins, right? So that's basically what this is. Now, they name the 7 applicants who have passed the test. They name Kill Baby, the guy who had not passed the test within like 3 or 4 different tries, Mafuyu, Kaji, one of the special recommendations, Akira, Shin, Tarumaru, and Sakamoto. Those are the 7 applicants that passed the test. Now, Tarumaru is disappointed in the fat form of Sakamoto and starts throwing a fit, but nothing actually violent. Shania wakes up and begins crying because he doesn't remember anything. Remember, he was just being controlled, and he really does seem just like an ordinary boy that needed money. He saw this job application in an ad, but I don't think he realized what he was getting himself into. He doesn't seem to know anything about anything, but he does mention that he should have known better than to trust a guy in a deer mask, which of course rings the alarm bells for Team Sakamoto. They ask for more information on what he knows about the guy in the deer mask. And he doesn't really know much. But now Team Sakamoto is finally caught up on Shania being controlled by Slur's group. So they know that Slur and his group had something to do with the interference of this test, okay? Now, Slur wants Kashima to get rid of any records of his past that the JCC has on him, because that's part of the reason, I guess, that Sakamoto is such a threat to Slur's plans, is that he knows about his past. So I'm guessing that was something that'll come up more in the next season. I actually don't think that season 2 has been officially announced. I'm assuming that they're going to have a season 2, but as of now, I don't think that they have. Gaku says that he only thought 2 of the applicants that he was scouting were decent, but he doesn't name them, and they don't like pop up in like his memory like he's seeing them. So we don't know which of the applicants that he is saying he thought were decent. So they have these helicopters that I guess are supposed to take them back to their homes, and they're gonna go in like groups of 2. So one of the first applicants to leave are Mafuyu and Taramaru. So they both board the same helicopter. While they're on the helicopter, they run into none other than that crazy freaking director, Kanaguri. And then there's another man there with him with red hair and bandages covering his eyes. We hear Slur's voice over the radio saying to take care of them because they're going to be accompanying them. Accompanying, you know what I mean. Tagging along with them from now on. So the 2 applicants that Gaku thought to be decent when he fought against them were Mafuyu and Tarumaru, which are both solid picks. But that also means that one of my new favorite characters is getting frickin' kidnapped by the enemy in Mafuyu. We cut back to the order with Mr. Shishiba saying, "What happened to that idiot Kanaguri?" So, did they mention Kanaguri being a member of the order at any point before this? Because I don't think they did. So Kanaguri Because we just heard Slur's voice over that radio with Kanaguri in the helicopter, implying that he's also actually been a part of Slur's group. So my thinking is that Kanaguri is a double agent, but I don't know for who. It seems that he's a double agent in support of the Order, who is potentially a spy, to spy on Slur and their group. At least I hope that's the case. He does seem incredibly capable. It would make sense if he was a member of the Order. We then see another new member besides that guy with the red hair and bandages, his name pops up. His name is Carolina Reaper. Don't know anything about him yet. And his brother, Club Jam, who has like long pink hair and like pink eyes, who apparently enjoys being tortured. So I'm telling you, man, if you're a hitman, you're just automatically a very weird individual. For example, Carolina tells him, "Oh yeah, I forgot you like being tortured. Okay, you're not allowed to breathe until I tell you to." And Club Jam like instantly listens. That must be one hell of a backstory for why he enjoys being tortured. That's crazy work. Slur tells Mafuyu that their plan is to destroy the JAA to bring the world back to its natural order. And you know what, guys? I skipped a part in my notes. We're gonna rewind real quick. I forgot to tell you that after discovering that apparently Kanaguri is a member of the Order, we see the other members like Nagamo, Mr. Shishiba, and then that other woman who kind of looks like the gothic chick. I'm forgetting her name right now. They're buying lottery tickets. And I thought it was just them like just doing it because they can. It turns out that it's like an undercover way to give them their assignments. That seems like a very extra way to get your assignments, but okay. And Mr. Shishiba's convinced that you can never win these things, and then it turns out that girl in the... What does he always call her? The gothic-looking girl? He says her name all the time. That's gonna bother me. We're looking it up. Alright, the Order members. Come with me on a journey to figure out names I should know already. The Order members, Sakomoto Days. Takamura Kamahate. Who's the girl? The goth girl. Osaragi. Jeez, Osaragi, the girl that uses the buzzsaw weapon. Okay, it was Osaragi that then actually wins the lottery, and apparently she won. I think they said 20 grand. It wouldn't be 20,000 yet, so I think they said 20 grand, and then Mr. Shishiba's just like, all right, lunch is on you. So, after we get introduced to some of the more members of Slur's group, again, Slur tells Mafuyu that his plan is to destroy the JAA to bring back the world to its natural order. We still don't necessarily know what that means, but Slur does not seem to enjoy the current state of things with there being an organization like the JAA. We cut back to Team Sakamoto back at the grocery store with the rest of our team members, and they're just sort of filling them in on how the test went. All of a sudden, Shin and Sakamoto receive exam results from the JCC. Shin opens up his envelope. He passed the test, top of his class, number 1. And in his own mind says to himself, you know what? Maybe I am getting stronger. Freaking good for Shin, man. He's been trying so damn hard. Sakamoto, however, opens up his envelope, and turns out he failed. Now, remember, originally, they told us he was one of the 7 applicants that passed, so what does that mean? Well, Shin gets pissed off for Sakamoto and calls, and it turns out that test administrator with the green shirt is like, oh yeah, I got wrapped up in the moment, but according to regulation, Sakamoto has a bounty on his head, and that means that he's disqualified from the test. And then Shin hangs up. So remember, their whole plan is to infiltrate the JCC as test applicants that passed. Shin passed, but now Sakamoto fails. Nagamo appears, probably one of my favorite members of the Order so far. Nagamo appears and starts laughing at Sakamoto for failing the test, to which of course pisses off Sakamoto. But the solution that Nagamo comes up with is that if he can't infiltrate as a student, he should infiltrate as a teacher. But he then hints that it should be Sakamoto's wife. However, knowing Nagamo in this moment, I figured he meant as a disguise for Sakamoto, and that's exactly what happens. Nagamo transforms Sakamoto into his wife so that he can infiltrate the JCC unnoticed. So his disguise will be that of his wife, who isn't really known by any of these guys. Sakamoto is not happy about this, but it's his way to infiltrate the JCC as a teacher's assistant. he does show up during Akira's class in that disguise and knocks someone unconscious. Nagamo says that this disguise is going to last for only 24 hours, and so he needs to find the database within that time to find information on Slur. And then we do get a post-credit scene that has some previews of scenes from next season. And that was the season finale. I gotta say, guys, like, right off the rip, I know we're going over 10 minutes here, but it's the season finale. I felt like I was expecting more. Like, I was expecting at least, like, some kind of cliffhanger to leave us on, some kind of note that makes me like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next season. And I will say, I felt like I didn't get that in this episode. It felt like we're supposed to have an episode that just comes right after this one. So as a season finale, I was a little bit disappointed. So this episode overall for me probably gets more of like around a 6.5 to a 7. Not a lot of action, which, okay, that's fine. But I don't know, the setup to next season just didn't seem to hit that hard. Now, as a season altogether, part 1, part 2, 22 episodes, what are my thoughts overall so far? Well, if you guys have been watching all of these recaps and reviews, you know that I've typically been giving these episodes in between 8s and 10s. So overall, I would say I'd put this season at like a solid 8.5 for me, which is super high. That's super good. I'm really enjoying Sakomoto Days. I can't believe it. I have actually recapped and reviewed every single episode. This has been a lot of fun. If you've been watching along, thank you. I appreciate the support. I hope you've enjoyed it. Whenever the season 2 is announced and they come out with season 2, I will cover this series again. I think this series is becoming one of my new favorite animes. Like, I probably put it a tier below things like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, even like Windbreaker, but it's still very, very enjoyable. And again, I give it an 8.5 out of 10 for the season as a whole because each episode really, for the most part, was good to great. Very bingeable, Sakomoto Days is. I did see some comments complaining about the animation style. I never had any complaints about the animation style. I thought there was actually a lot of episodes that had great animation for their fight scenes. You guys have seen me gush over that before, so that's not a complaint that I share. But Sakomoto Days, episode 22, man, we made it, guys. We made it. Thank you guys for watching. If there's another series that you'd like to see me review, I'm absolutely open to suggestions. I'm definitely going to be looking for my next anime to review. So hopefully I can find something that you guys are interested in as well. But that's all I got, guys. Happy Saturday, and take care.